Let's Science is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
3, 2, 1.
We live in a universe of scientific wonders.
Every day, scientists are inching towards breakthroughs which can change our lives.
We're playing our small part in sharing these wonders with you.
That's why today is a fine day for science.
So let's science. This will be the best science topic you have ever been part of.
Oh, don't know, Lindsay. You can't say
we
that.
are.
Caroline's science topics are great.
Oh, no, there's a reason why she'll love this one.
Yeah, but...
You briefed me on it before we did the...
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we started the episode, and
Yeah.
it's actually... Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay. It's top 10. Okay. Oh, top 5.
Yeah. It's going to be one of her top for 2024. Yeah. It's going to be in the top 10. Yeah. Now, what's happened is, Caroline, you've been quite busy still settling down from, which is fair. Yeah, fine. And we know that when Caroline hasn't got time to do a science topic, it goes to me and Lino. And we know that, we always find something weird, wonderful out there, a bit strange. Yeah.
But it's still science and it's fun.
Still science and it's fun. Yep.
Well, I think they're going to call us the Roman concrete boys or brothers.
I know. Yeah, all the melting
Brothers?
robots. Yeah.
No, Mario Brothers is to take it, isn't it? Okay.
Mario Brothers, yeah.
Yeah, taken,
Yeah.
sorry.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Concrete bros. Yeah.
Concrete bros.
I am so happy I found this topic because this spoke Caroline. Nothing speaks Caroline more than the word Pikmin, all right? Pikmin. So, yeah, for those who have never heard this word before, Pikmin. Pikmin is a game on Nintendo, which started with, I think, the Nintendo 64, right?
The GameCube.
GameCube, sorry, yeah.
Mm.
And
Wow.
it's a game where you're a pilot of a spaceship that crashes on an unknown planet, and you discover these creatures called Pikmin. They're these little creatures of different colors that have leaves or flowers popping out of their heads. And they help you to perform tasks so that you can repair your spaceship and get away or whatever it is that you're meant to be doing. So I'll say more about what they actually are according to what the article says. But Caroline is a connoisseur of the Pikmin.
I love it. I love it.
She is the reason that Nintendo keep making Pikmin games. We're up to Pikmin 4 now. There's even a mobile game as well.
Which I play, actually.
She is absolutely, the biggest fan that there ever was. And because of her, talk about evangelization. Caroline has...
I've done a good job.
My kids like Pikmin. I've played a couple of games and finished it. It's spread throughout. Jared and his family have Pikmin.
Children, Jared's children, If only I could evangelize as well for Christ.
Yeah.
For Pikmin.
Yeah. Go therefore and make disciples of Pikmin. Yeah.
I've done it.
Yeah.
I've done that bit.
Baptizing them in the name of the red one, the yellow one, and the blue one. Yeah. Yeah.
And all the new ones now.
And all the new ones, yeah.
Yes.
And all those extra ones, yeah. So anyway, so I found an article from Science News Explores, which I'm going to summarize as part of today's topic. And I was okay with understanding it. And Caroline, because you're here, thankfully, you'll be able to jump in and say a couple of things too. But it says, Pikmin's plant-animal mashups don't exist, but sun-powered animals do. These hybrids may be the best of both worlds when it comes to food. And then there's a picture in the article, so if you want to see it in the show notes, there's a link. There's a little image of a red Pikmin there, and the caption says, all Pikmin sport a single leaf that can develop into a flower. Pikmin might host these leafy additions to get an added energy boost. And so we'll talk about more what the leaves, and I know Caroline's already got some thoughts on that too. Yeah, because she already read the article and picked out some of the inaccuracies. So I know you'll correct as we go along.
Here we go.
So it says this whoever wrote, as Aaron Tremper who wrote this article must be a Pikmin fan, or at least
it's so good.
Yeah, surely.
Really good.
Yeah. So it says, in the Pikmin video games, strange beings known as Pikmin help you survive on an alien planet. Each brightly colored Pikmin starts off as a sapling with roots like toes and a single leaf on its head. As the creature matures, the leaf transitions into a flower. Actually, you need nectar to make a flower, don't you, Caroline?
Yes, you do.
It doesn't just mature. You need to eat nectar.
Okay.
But anyway.
Okay.
So,
Unless it's planted in the ground for a while and then it does mature to a flower.
you're right. It does. Yeah, correct. Yeah. More about it than I do. Yeah. See, Caroline knows everything. I'm telling you. Yep. Sorry.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
It makes total
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. But these plant-like life forms behave like animals. So they behave like animals. All right. So they, for example, they cooperate to forage for nectar. They hunt giant creatures and haul prey back to their, not nests, Caroline, but...
It's an onion.
onions. That's right. They call it an onion.
It's a
Yeah.
spaceship sort of thing, but
Yeah.
they call it an onion.
Yeah, but they haul things back to their onions, which this article is called nests. Some clear obstacles with explosive rocks. Others breathe underwater using gills. The article says they're more like animals, right? Now, plants here on Earth aren't quite as talented. However, it's not unheard of for an animal to be able to practice a bit of photosynthesis. So what they're going on here about is that while animals, we do also have our own plant-like animals that can do plant-like things as well, just like Pikmin. These are known as mixotrophs, so creatures or animals that are capable of enjoying a bit of photosynthesis. They fuel themselves by harnessing the energy of the sun, just like plants do.
That makes
But they
sense.
but they also eat other organisms as well, like animals do. So they've got the best of both worlds.
Yep.
So some of these animals get their light-absorbing powers from microbes stored in their bodies. Others do it by stealing chloroplasts from the food that they eat. Some mixotrophs even look like they're growing their own tiny leaves, just like Pikmin. Pikmin are most likely animals. All right, says Moeller, a plankton ecologist from the University of California, Santa Barbara. So even here we are, we've got ecologists at universities talking about Pikmin, which I love. So despite their leaves, Pikmin move on their own and work in groups. This suggests that they have a complex nervous system. Now, Nintendo hasn't confirmed this, but it'd be great if they did come out and just tell us what they thought. All right, so maybe they have
made of zeros and ones, something like that.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. They're more digital creatures, really. Yeah, but if they were real, they might have a complex nervous system, just on observation. They might be a mix of two different species. While they look like a single organism, these leafy critters might in fact be animals that host a plant's ALGA. Yeah, all right, in their body.
Many ways to say it.
Yeah. So like plants, most algae practice photosynthesis. They have special structures called chloroplasts that convert light and carbon dioxide into sugars.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the process of photosynthesis. Yeah. So certain animals in the real world have come to rely on these solar-powered algae for foods. So here are two examples. Coral. Okay. Good old stony coral.
There you go. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. These corals often look like plants, but they're actually colorful cousins of jellyfish. Their calcium carbonate skeletons keep them anchored in one place. At night, most corals hunt using their stinging tentacles. Corals aren't picky. They'll feast on anything from small fish and floating eggs to microscopic animals called zooplankton. Corals live along tropical coasts and they can't rely on hunting to get enough energy. Coral reefs, or the buildup of hundreds of years of coral skeletons, they attract divers and snorkelers because of their crystal clear waters, but these unclouded views often means that there's little food for corals to eat. So tropical corals make up for this shortage by housing an algae known as, and I'm glad that they've got the phonetic spelling next to the actual word. Yeah. So zooxanthellae, they're called. This is a particular kind of algae, and they store this algae in their tissue. So they've got like would you call it a symbiotic relationship, Caroline? Is that a fair enough? Yeah. Good. Just trying to dig up my year 9 science and remember. So these reef building corals set up shop in shallow water where they're exposed to plenty of sunlight. The corals offer these algae carbon dioxide and shelter. And so safely tucked away, the algae produce sugars and amino acids. The corals get most of their nutrition from these substances. Up to 90% of the materials in the algae photosynthesize are passed on to their coral hosts. The corals use these compounds for food and grow their exoskeleton. So there's an example of an animal that also relies on photosynthesis, just like a Pikmin, apparently. Another one, and this one is really cool. So you've got to get on the article, anyone who's listening, and check out the picture of this crazy little creature that looks like something you'd find in Pikmin. So the title says solar slugs. Okay, so that's So so not all animals get energy through photosynthesis are as great about sharing that with zooxanthellae. Some slugs steal chloroplasts instead from the algae that they eat. And this process is called kleptoplasty. Okay, so I guess like a kleptomaniac or steal. Okay, yeah. So kleptoplasty is the process, and the slug is called sacoglycin, I think it is, or sap-sucking sea slugs. Try and say that 10 times fast. So
I'm sorry. Can we stop? When you say that sap-sucking sea slug, it sounds like you're teasing someone Or
Like an insult.
an
It is a
insult.
good. We'll put
Get
that
over
in
here,
the
yeah,
comment.
sap-sucking sea slug. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Oh no!
It's like an insult. Yeah.
They're doing very well.
Like a
wow.
bloated sack of protoplasm.
Yeah, you bloated sack of
Whoa,
protoplasm.
there
Yeah,
you go.
that's right. Yeah.
Wow.
Stimpy
Ren and
reference.
Stimpy, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, these slugs, they don't house algae or give them a home. They actually eat the algae and
Oh.
they've got little teeth where they pierce it open and they slurp up the innards of the algae. They suck up all the insides.
Wow.
And then they stockpile the chloroplasts from eating the algae in their digestive glands.
Mm.
And then the chloroplasts actually help supplement the slug's diet, especially when the algae is scarce. So unlike the corals, the slugs get most of their nutrition from digesting the algae itself. Terence Gosliner, a marine biologist, studies the sea slugs at the California University Academy of Sciences in San Francisco. Sorry, there's a lot of wordiness today. But the chloroplasts are hidden in the slugs' bodies within fleshy folds called parapodia. And he says if you open the parapodia, the inside is just bright green from all of these chloroplasts. The sea slug species can keep using the chloroplasts for nearly a year, but that kind of mileage is usually unusual. So most of these slugs maintain their energy harvesting machinery for a couple of weeks at most, and then they replace them by eating more algae. It says here, could Pikmin be hoarding chloroplasts from the food that they eat in the leafy structure on its head? Probably not. So Caroline, I guess you'd agree with that too. It says animals that steal chloroplasts tend to be slow moving. Chloroplasts wouldn't provide enough energy for Pikmin to do all the lifting, the sprinting, and the battling that they do every day. They would need more energy than they consume. Yeah, so he says, if an action requires more energy than you're capturing, you're not going to last that long. So it says Pikmin would need a lot more leaves to soak up sunlight like the sea slugs do. The slugs that photosynthesize often have lots of leaf-like appendages, so they grow things that look like leaves, they can photosynthesize with the chloroplast that they steal. So it says here, rather than a single leaf, you'd need a head of lettuce growing on top of Pikmin for it to work. So it says here, Pikmin might have another use for the foliage on their heads. It could be to use to lure prey. And Caroline, I think you might see this as a bit inaccurate. But they're taking their cues from real animals or real plants, yeah. The flower could attract insects looking for a sip of nectar. They could be fooling pollinators and coming closer before scarfing them up. He says, in this way, Pikmin could just be big flying Venus flytraps. It's interesting that someone has decided to do the science of Pikmin, talking about an animal that can photosynthesize or an animal that was also a plant. Caroline, give us a bit of an assessment of the science of Pikmin. What do you think? What are your thoughts on this?
Creatures that take chloroplasts to make their food, fantastic. That is great. I love it. And I love the little leaves on it. However, Pikmin don't have leaves on their head to use to photosynthesize. As we would know, if you play Pikmin 4, you would realize.
You would know.
That the leaf they use is actually to help them breathe on the planet that they're on.
There you go.
Because when the little Hoctation, when you're the little spacemen that come to the planet where the Pikmin are, they actually have a helmet on. And a part in the game where they get stolen and then taken into a little cave and they're turned into a head of leaves, which means they don't need to wear their helmet anymore and they're able to breathe on the planet. That's how we got to get that from that. But yes, there's a lot to the Pikmin game. There's so much. But fascinating, totally fascinating article. I love it. And I love how someone was able to relate Pikmin to real creatures. And just as a side note, though, this is also Pikmin and science together. A lot of the little enemy creatures that are in Pikmin, because it's very garden-y, right? So they have a lot of plants and insects, but insects that the creatures are based on real life insects. So you'll have some called bulbobs that they go around and they chomp the Pikmin up. But there's also something that looks very much like my green leaf insect. So she looks like she's a Monteith stick insect. She looks like a leaf, right? Yeah. And she's got hands that go forward. In the Pikmin game, they go forward and they capture the Pikmin and they eat them. However, in real life, it's given them a bad rap because in real life, these leaf insects actually eat leaves. But I love how they've drawn inspiration from biology, real life things, insects, real life creatures, and adapted them to the game. So it's fantastic. Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. Good one. If there are any more science of computer games that we like, we'll have
Totally.
to give them a go. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
good.
that was really fun. Good pick, Lindsay. I love
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
That was so
Or
fun.
good Pikmin, as they might say. But, yeah. But Caroline, I officially now hand over the science mantle to you,
Thank
so we can get some real science next time.
No, this is great. This is real
Yeah.
science.
Fun one, yeah.
Totally. So fun.
Let's Science is brought to you by StarQuest Media and is a fortnightly podcast that brings you the scientific wonders of our universe from a distinctly Catholic point of view. For more from Caroline, Lindsay, and friends, listen to the StarQuest show, Catholics of Oz. Find links from today's show at sqpn.com/science and find the Catholics of Oz at sqpn.com/Oz. Be sure to follow the show in Apple Podcasts, Google Play, wherever you can find podcasts, or on the SQPN YouTube channel. The generous donations of our patrons at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue Let's Science and all the shows at StarQuest, which makes our nonprofit mission possible. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. Join us next time for more scientific wonders, and thank you for listening to Let's Science on StarQuest. Here's another show on the StarQuest network you're sure to enjoy, Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World. Find the show wherever fine podcasts are found or at sqpn.com/mysterious.